Hello, ladies. Hi, Mary. Hi, Dorothy. This is the rosary chain I was working on yesterday when we stopped, and I kept working on it while Dorothy was on. I think it's about 3 feet. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it. May just leave it as a 3-foot necklace. It goes right over your neck with ease, but it's turned out really nicely. We're going to make some earrings, and I think we're going to be using some copper wire. I was going to make these gold, but looks like I don't have any more 18 gauge gold square wire, so we're going to be using, hi Anita, hi Beth, we're going to be using copper. And what we're going to work on, let's bring them down here. Got our Time Traveler bundle here, the companion bundle. And what I want to do is work on the earrings that we were talking about with the these little these little links. These guys. So we're going to have dual metals because we got to have copper for our wraparound. And then I was saying we would put a teardrop on them, but we do not have teardrop pieces in this box. So I'm thinking what we're going to do is make a double, sort of a double drop kind of thing, with just 2 of the beads, a smaller one and a larger one. And I think maybe we'll use one of the pearls, and well, no, we can use these little, okay. I'm going to use the little crystals and the bigger crystal to make our drop, I think. And something just fell beside me. Not sure what it was. I'm not going to worry about it. So that's what we need from out of the box. We'll turn down in a minute so we can look at stuff, what I've got here a little better. Yes, today is the last day of 2025. Hard to believe, isn't it? Hey, Sid. Hi, Linda. Hi, Beth. So anyway, to me, it's really hard to believe that it's already the end of 2025. So what we are going to do here is we're going to get some pins, and we're going to, where are my little copper spacers here? We are going to make this pair of earrings as soon as I find everything I want. And we're going to, yeah, this year went very fast, didn't it? Hey, Cynthia. So I'm just dropping out the stuff I think I'm going to need for what I'm making here. And we will get started on them in just a moment. Yes, I hope we have a nice upcoming year as well. It's been a little bit different this year, what with the government shutdown and then all of the odds and end goings on we've been having lately. It's been, yeah, not the best year in the world. Though it hasn't been too horribly bad. I've had worse, but but we definitely have had better too. So who knows where we want to go with that. I did glue the top of our sun catcher the other day, and it is looking pretty good. Oh, there's my daughter home. We had a really bad fire in the valley yesterday. So that's what all the sirens I was saying. I hear more sirens. And it was because we had a really, really bad fire in the valley that one of the lumber mills caught on fire, and it was not a good thing. So yeah, it did. They said they showed pictures of the fire. You could see it all through the valley. It was pretty bad. So it was. Well, Linda, could you see the fire when you went to work? The one in Rose Crossing?
No, but I wasn't really paying a whole lot of attention.
But anyway, so there was pictures of it. You could see it from 10, 15 miles away. It was really going. So, and I kept hearing fire trucks, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then somebody posted the first bunch of pictures on Facebook last night. It was pretty bad. So anyway, we're going to turn down, we're going to start these earrings. We're going to use, like I said, use these little pieces. Unfortunately, I don't have, I do have some bronze pins that I could use and bronze jump rings, antique bronze, but I don't have any antique bronze square wire, which I want to use. So we're going to make this be multi-metal, and I think it's going to be fun. So let's turn down and I'll show you what we're going to do. So here's our little bits and pieces I pulled out. I pulled out our little rings, these little cool connectors, and I've got one of the little pinky crystals and one of those gray crystals, a couple of rose gold spacers. We got the square bare copper wire here, 18 gauge, and I just decided to go with some copper white pins since we're using. Oh, I don't know if I need this big of a pin. Let me see my copper pins here. Do we have a smaller one? Those might be too small. Well, we'll give them a try. So we would, if I use these, we're going to go with it. We're going to go here, here. Come in, you. On again. And then this little guy. Oh, there's going to be enough because it's got plenty to wrap. So that is our little drop rather than a teardrop, since there's no teardrops in this box. We're going to just use a little drop like this. We're going to make our own little drop, so to speak, by using a larger one at the bottom and then going to a smaller one at the top. The sad part mainly about that fire is that I heard that one of the workers was burnt. So Hopefully he's not too badly burnt. So now we're going to make a larger loop because I'm going to hardwire these onto here. And because this has got is pretty big across the bottom here, I want to make a bigger loop. So we're going to go up to the second step here and go up and over. And I'm going to leave a gap here as we come around so that I can slide this onto here. So like so. Then we'll grab with our pliers and hold it right there where the wires come together. Come on, get out of the way, baby. And then we're going to wrap this other little piece of wire here around the edge. And because the pin is relatively short, I shouldn't need to cut any off. Come on, no sliding down. So we have this piece on here now. On this one anyway. So we'll put the one piece on the other one as well. Just the same way. Don't need these, so we can put them back up here. And so up and around and over. And then bring it down and around. Bring it over here and leave a gap as you bring it over so that your piece can slide on. Grab it where the two wires come together. And then we're going to wrap this little piece. Oops. Came off of my pliers, naughty wire. Okay, so there's the second one of these done. We could call it good and just put ear wires on now. You know, we don't have to go any further if we don't want to, but I do want to. And what we're going to do is twist some wire and we're going to put it all the way around here in sort of an oval loop so that it comes up and around to give it a little bit more of oomph. So what we need to do to decide how long we want our wire to be, we need to take one of these and our measuring tape. We want a flexible one, and we're going to go up and over and around so that we get an idea of the length of wire we need. So just, would you lock? Thank you. So we're got to go up here, come down and around, come back over here, and then we also need to leave about an inch for loops. So we need at least 6 inches. That was 5.5 there, but I had put a bit up here at the top. So if we just went and brought it like this, the way I want it, but then added, that's 5 inches, then added an inch for our loops. So we need 6 inches of wire at least. So I'm going to cut 2 6-inch pieces here. Let's put these up here out of the way for right now. This is going to really brighten these up because this is copper instead of bronze. But see how the difference there. So we want to get 2 6-inch pieces out. Could make them 6 1/4 just to have a little, make sure we have plenty, and that may be what we do. But here is our, trying to see if the last time I cut this, if I cut it with my regular flush cutters, and yes I did. So when we cut the very tip of it off to get it squared, and we're going to go down the side here and get 6 inches of wire, maybe 6 1/4, just to be on the safe side. That's right here. Get our double flush cutters and cut it right there. Then I'm going to get a second piece so we have it for the other one. And I'm just going to cut it to this one so that they are the same size. Now, if when I cut it they're not quite the same, I will trim whichever one is longer to get them so they are identical. So now we have 2 pieces of 6 1/4 inch copper wire, square. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take, go back in the drawer, baby. There we go. I'm going to take these wires. I'm going to make sure they're about the same length. Looks like one may be just a hair's breadth longer. And we're going to get our twist out because I have a thing for twisted wire. I think it's really pretty. So then I'm going to stick my thumbnail in here because it needs to be widened a little bit for the 18 gauge. The 21 gauge will usually slide in pretty easily, but the 18 needs a little bit of help, so to speak. And I think I may have just chipped my nail. That's all right. It doesn't need to be that long. So then I'm going to take hold of the other end right here with my pliers, and then we're going to just twist. No sliding. Where's it sliding? Oh, right here. It came out of the lock. So I want that pretty well twisted. We'll do this second one. Come on, go in, baby. There we go. So there's our 2 pieces of wire. And I didn't have that wire as straight as I normally would get it, but that's because when you twist it, it automatically sort of straightens as well. So now we're going to take our pliers, our bell pliers, and I'm going to get my dual set, the smaller dual set, and we're going to take these loops and we're going to loop them on either side here. Now I want my mandrel. Now I'm going to just use the handle, and I'm not going to make it round. I'm not going to pull it all the way to round because I want these to be oval. So I'm just going to pull it up like so. But I can see that this one is longer, so we're going to pull that one in some like so. And then since they're about the same now, we can get them more evened out. So that's good. It's going to go like this. This piece is going to hang in the middle. Now this is it ended up being a little longer than I needed. If I wanted it to be not quite that long, but since this needs to pull together some, it might be just fine. Put some jump rings up to make it be drop down a little further if we need to. You do need to do an uneven amount, an odd amount of jump rings though. Well, this one, it depends on how you want it to hang. It doesn't really have to hang this way. It could hang this way. So whichever amount we put in will determine which way it hangs. So there's that one. And so again, we're going to take our wire, just hold it here about center, bring it over and around till we can see this one is much longer. So now this is the one we're going to bend. We're not going to bend the other one. It's going to stay put where it's at. Now we're going to compare them, see how close they are to each other. They should be pretty close. Looking pretty good. Now, if I wanted this to be a little smaller, I would start by clipping a little bit of wire out of the rings and then wrapping them again. In fact, let's do that. I think we've got a little more than we need. So what I mean is we take our flush cutters, go into the loop and just cut a little bit off at a time. So we're going to cut about, I don't know, maybe an eighth. Go in here and cut both sides. We'll do it on both of them so we get the same amount. Then you just take your bell making pliers and again just stick them in there and wrap it down some more so it goes down to where it's supposed to be. And in this manner you get them consistently with each other. See, we just cut a little bit off. Now, because I twisted this wire and I've been working with it, it's going to be naturally work hardened that way. If you want it work hardened more, you can hammer it with your rubber mallet. I think maybe we want a little bit more off, but probably should not have put that extra 1/4 inch on. So we just do it in little increments in our rings, like so, on both sides. until we get the length we want. You don't want to take a big hunk out unless you know you need to have, unless you know you have a ton of extra wire, at which point you could take a bigger chunk out of them, but I try to do it in little increments. The other day I did a big chunk out and ended up with more out than I wanted out. They still worked, but it was still more out than I wanted. But so there we go. That'll sit like so. Yes, you could use it as a pendant. Hi, Brandy. Haven't seen you for a while, Brandy. How you doing these days? Are you still having to use oxygen? So it's going to sit like this. So what we need to do is I've pulled a few jump rings out. We will need more than that. In fact, I think I'll need probably quite a few more than that, at least. So why I needed more is we need to make a slight chain, so to speak, for these. So what we're going to do is we're going to put one across here. And then I'm going to put a second one on. So when it goes into the connector piece, it will not it will hang down a little bit. That one's not closed all the way. There we go. So it's going to go into the connector right here. These are for connecting. These are for, the other two are for putting on either side of the loops here. Now, this is an earring. You could make multiple loops around it if you wanted to. I have made multiple loops around little things, though I don't want to make too many around this because I want this piece to be the star. So this is the star, and our loop is the supporting cast, so to speak. Now, I have seen people close these up by taking a loop and just looping these onto like a ring and then just hanging from the ring. I tend to prefer to do the way I do it. You can do it, there's multiple ways, though, you can close these off. I'm sorry to hear that you're going to have to be constantly on it. I was hoping whatever had caused it, I thought maybe it was the smoke inhalation from the fire that had caused it, and hoped that you would be able to get off of it. But sometimes it's just not going to happen, is it? Sorry about that. Now what we do You guys go over there with this one. Is we're going to take this big one here. And actually, I need to get some ear wires out. But we're going to go through this first loop. Then through the one on our pretty dangle. Move this one up into place so that it's sitting the proper way. And we hook onto it. Oh, that dangle could definitely go down lower. So I think we're going to be putting a few more jump rings on it to make its chain drop further. See how it's got quite a bit of room down here. So we're going to pull these back off. Come on, baby. Off. And we're going to put a couple of more jump rings in here. So we need to get a few more out. Hi, Dawn. Okay. And we're sort of making a little chain with our jump rings here. Now, if I hadn't wanted to do this, I could, of course, take some more wire out of my hoop, just the way I have been doing until I got it where I wanted it. Now let's see how this is going to hang, where this is going to hang at now. Now I got to get this loop to this one to go up the way it's sitting here, because if I don't, it will twist. It's almost too long now. See how it's way down there now? So the question is, do we take out one of those? I think we do. I think we just leave it at 3 and just take one of these off. But since the other side needs 3, we can always take this one once we open it and put it onto the other side. Now I try not to open my jump rings more than 3 times. If you do, you mess up the integrity of the metal. And so 3 is good. Now this is one of those ones that I don't care which piece goes to the front and which piece goes to the back, to the side. So because they're both sort of pretty and interesting looking, so I'm not going to worry about that issue. If I was going to worry about that issue, you'd have to have a certain amount per spot. On you go. And of course we could also, if we needed to, if this still looks too long, but the other side's the other with 4 was too long, with 3, if it's not long enough to make me happy, 3 is good. I like it. I would rather have this turned this way, but it's not going to be a big problem, I don't think, as far as the looks of it. So I think we're going to leave it like that. I think 3 is good. I need to get some ear wires. That's why I'm not closing that up. Hey, Dawn. 23 feels like 12. You guys have must have a good wind chill going to make it feel so cold. But as I was saying, if I decided I wanted to make sure that the little dangle went in one specific direction, instead of using the 3 of the mediums, these are 6s, I could get out some of the Tinky Tots and I could substitute 2 little ones for one of these bigger ones. And that would probably drop it down a little bit more, but then it would make sure that when it hangs down, it hangs in the direction of the pretty. But I think it's liking to just wiggle around as is, so I'm not going to worry about it any. We're going to put these 3 up here. We're not going to need them. Now, if you wanted to, you could also bead on the hoop. Now, remember, this is square wire, though, and it's been twisted. So it's not the same as like 18 gauge round. It's going to be thicker because of the squareness, number 1, and because of the twist, number 2. And you would definitely want to test your beads if you're going to put some beads at the bottom to make sure they would go on before just deciding they would, because they may not. The other option would be to just take some thin wire. You want relatively thin wire when you're wrapping around stuff like this. Come on, you. Behave yourself. Because too thick a wire would turn it into, it would make it hard to turn, number 1, and it would make a slightly messy look, number 2. So now we have, I never did find those bronze ear wires, but I do have some I either have the bright, they call this one rose gold copper that we can put on, or I have antique copper we could put on. Either would work because we've got multi-metals anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. Check these, make sure they work. Hey, Heather, how you doing, sweetie? And I always check my ear wires, my lever backs, because sometimes they don't want to open, or if they do open, then they don't want to close. By that, I mean they get really loose and they will just sort of bag, and that's not good. So both of these sets are just fine. I think we're just going to go with the bright copper because we've got the bright copper loop there. So now we're just going to grab hold of this loop again. And because this has got no definitive back and front, we can just put this on and then close it up. Now that didn't quite meet. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little gap there. So what I do when that happens is I take my 2 pliers and I start wiggling this back and forth just a little bit with some forward pressure on it. And I keep doing that till it scrapes, and it just did. Oops. Obviously, because it decided to come off. Now, because it has a bump here, I'm going to just put my pliers in here and give it a little squish to take that bump out some. So there we go. Here's number 1. So now we carefully grab this one. We just slide our ear wire onto here and close it up. when you push down like that, you have to be careful because I have pushed in and with too much of the point of my pliers and have actually spread it back open. So there we go. There's our earrings. This is the these are this whole central part, other than the pin, of course, is from our Time Traveler Companion Bundle, and the rest, well, is from my stash. But that stuff from my stash is just the little daisy spacers, the wire for our loop, jump rings, and the ear wire. Oh, yeah. And the wind chills off the water are cold. When I went down to the bay, when I was doing Hurricane Katrina relief work, the Park Service sent a couple of crews down to help. I know those mornings when the wind was blowing off of the bay there, it was horribly cold. So here we go. There's our earrings. First set using the hey Carolyn. It's 46 degrees there in Florida, Dorothy. Not a little chilly for you guys? I know I have a niece, and my sister used to live in Florida, my oldest sister, who now lives in Mexico. And she said a lot of the houses don't even have heaters in them because they hardly ever get cold enough to need them, which I think is sort of like, eh. But it's sort of like here, down there they have air conditioning everywhere, whereas here we don't have that. So I mean, I put a fan in my house, and well, I put little portable air conditioner units in my house in the summertime because it does get hot. But hey, Deb. So anyway, there's our first pair of earrings made with the companion bundle. And let's see, what time is it? Oh, we got lots of time. So I have to ask myself, do I want to use these guys and make another pair of earrings right off the bat? Or I actually could make earrings with the links with these gears if you wanted to. Or bracelet or anything else that you wish to make from. I could make a leather earrings using our pretty pink pieces here, and we have the orange ones in the regular Time Traveler, and I think I still have some of the blue ones. I do. And so we could make another set of leather earrings. Whoa, where did that go? I dropped my other porcelain bead here. No, come here, you. Got these ones too. Well, you stay put, because you're the one I want. Yes, I can do that, Dorothy. Yeah, it would be around here too, Don. 46 would be a heat wave. So what we're going to do, these are the ones we're going to use for some leather. The leather earrings are fun. I enjoy making them. We're going to use, I think we'll use the light natural. And I'm going to light natural. We're going to get somewhere in here. I have some wonderful big silver ball spacers. As soon as I find those, that's what we're going to use for our spacers here this time around. Or if I didn't want to put them on leather, I could just put them on an Insta pendant, and then the Insta pendant could actually turn into an earring. It doesn't have to be a pendant. See if they'll all fit on here if I do that. No spacers though, and no, it won't, because they're, see, it's not popping out there. You could just put them like that if, you know, if you got the right amount of beads, and then just hook the piece here to a ear wire. Still looking for my big silver balls that were right here. That sounds bad, doesn't it? My big silver balls. Per usual, I got stuff moved around and can't find what I'm looking for. What a surprise. I really do need to put my spacers away instead of leaving them out. I'm getting them all over the place. But I do have big silver ball spacers, and then of course when you put the silver bead cap on to end them up, they makes a perfect, oops, bump the light. Well, I do have some more. They're just not packaged up, so it would be like, hey, you, we could go. And I only need 4, so they go like so. These ones became silver rather than bronze. So these would be this hole is smaller. May have to get a different bead. Now, if I need to, I will ream out the porcelain bead just a little bit because it wants to be a little tight, which is sort of weird because the other ones are perfectly perfect through the years. These. Maybe it's just that particular bead. That one went on really simply. So then we'll put this on like this. We'll put the bead cap, the bead cover, the crimp covers on to hold it in place, and it'll look like this. So I'm going to decide how much leather I need. I think that's good. So we'll cut this piece right here. Then I'm going to spread that out. We will take and hold this in place so we get the same length. And then by all rights, I should have taken it off, the beads off, so that the beads were not interfering with my length, which I still can do. And if the lengths are off, then we can cut it down, whichever one's too long. So now this is natural. So as you can see, there's some slight, not only is there, now it's off just a hair's breadth, but not enough to be a real problem when I cut it down. I'm going to cut this other end, the one that we've been putting the beads through, because it started to fray a little bit. And now we've got those in place. And like I say, these are just going to go on. Now, when the ends start to flatten out as you're putting them through the beads, they'll start to lose the conformity on the end of them. Just roll them through your fingers and it'll squish it back into behaving. Now, these need to come down over here some. Now I do have some wider silver ones that do not need to be squished to go on. When you put them on, they just have to be glued. So these ones will probably get that because they are silver. Let's see. This is the bead that didn't want to go on. Yep. So we'll get a different one out of the box. Nope. Wrong ones. That one looks clean. Oh yeah, that one went on fine. No problem whatsoever. This needs to go for just a hair's breadth. So there is the beaded portion of that. We still need to put our get these centralized into where they're going to be, and we need to put a crimp cover on them. And these are, I think they're 10 millimeters. I'm not sure what size these are. I just call them big ones. I need 4. one more. That's 2. So what we do with these, oh, it's warmed up some. Yeah. So then what we're going to do is we want to pull these up to the top. Make sure they're about even. They look this one looks pretty good. Let's try get this one. This one also looks pretty good. So then what you do, now I've had a lot of people tell me they use their crimping pliers to grab these, and you can do that. I'm going to grab one of these, slide this sort of sideways, and just push it down onto the leather. Once I'm sure it's on the leather and where I want it, then I'm going to crimp it. Let's make sure it is where I want it though. We're going to put the other one on. Well, it's not crimp, it's just tighten it. Okay, are we still in the right place? I think we may have moved just a little bit because it looks like this side's up just a little bit higher. So go up that way just a hair's breadth. Then you guys move around. Still looks just a touch higher than I want it. Not bad, but a little bit. Okay, now that I've got it about where I want it, and it is on the leather, I'm going to take my pliers and we're going to squish it. That squished a little crooked, but we'll straighten it some. That side's now became a silver bead, and it's going to hold it in place. Same with this side now. We're just going to move it over and up and around, tighten you up. And now the beads will stay in place where they're at. And I still think I got that one side just a touch longer. In fact, I know I did. So you can see it's a bit longer there. So we're going to get the other side on, and we're going to trim all of the lines down to this one's length. So we're going to put you on. So now that we have the beads all crimped on here, I'm going to measure our strands here, see which is the shortest. This one is, looks like 1.5 inches. How about you? That one I got pretty good. They're both 1.5 inches. But are you? That one's 1.5 inches, but this one's going to be longer, I can tell. Not a lot longer, but a little bit. About this much. So how that happened is beyond me because they were the same length when we started. So that's pretty good. Now see, that one's longer. I think one of these may be tighter than the other one is. But let's see what they look like when we pull them together, if they're about the same length. Come on. Yeah, they're pretty good. So now those need their end caps put on and they'll be done. Well, and the ear wire. But now this other pair, the one with the connectors here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some ear wires. We're going to make this into a pair of earrings like this. Ta-da. So we need some wires and we want bronze. So so we got down to 4 here the other day, but we haven't gone beyond below 0, which is nice. We usually get like a week or two of like -20. A couple years ago, we got a lot worse than that. This one, I don't think it's going to stay on the ball. It feels like it's already halfway in there. So I think to have to get some little daisy spacers to go along with it. Ooh, that's got some nice flowering on it. So I got to see if I got any bronze daisy spacers right beside me. If not, then I will have to go over to my spacer cabinet. And since this little piece, the wrap will go into it as well, we want something tiny for the side there. So I'm thinking, let's see how you go. Are you going to sit good there? Yeah, you'll be all right. Though I don't like it. Usually I like a ball spacer and a daisy together, but this one, I don't like it. I don't know if it's because this daisy spacer is pretty thick or what the problem is, but I just don't care for that. Oops, you get back over there. I had those really tiny ones. Sorry about that, but I think I found what I want. So these are actually antique copper rather than bronze, but they're going to work, I think. Let's see. Yeah, see, that looks better. Because that has a big hole, though, what I'm going to do close enough to the same color. We are going to use a little tiny guy on the top here. You know, let's see if I can get one of the brighter colors. Hi, Dominique. What's this little gray one look like? Now it's a little lighter gray, so it might be better. This is a little lighter gray one right here too. So Lily is bugging my husband. She wants attention. I didn't intend for this to be an earring box, but it would seem that it is. Now we got a choice here. We could hardwire this onto here. And if in doing that, we need the bigger loop because we have a pretty wide piece here. And I think we are going to do that. So I'm going to not go with the lowest one, but we're going to go with the next one up and around and over. Bring it around. Straighten it out some because it's a mess here. Get this a little wider. Open. Then we're going to take our gear, choose any of the spots. They're all the same. Go into the middle like so. Then we'll get hold of it where the wires come together. And we're going to wrap it up. Cut the little excess off. Scoosh it into place. Now I can see that I've bent my base wire, so we're going to have to straighten that up. And because there's no definitive hole, it's going to roll back and forth as it sees fit. This one can slide backwards just a little bit there. There we go. So there's bring this around all the way and leave a gap as you come around. Slide it on. Like I say, wherever, because with this first one, because it's going to, none of them are a specific, top and bottom piece. So now we want to wrap this wire around. Oh, stop. Lily is a little weirdo. She jumps off the wall sometimes like she's doing parkour. She just did. So if you heard that weird scramble, that's what that was. Thank you. Now this needs to go into this hole right here, these, because that's right across, and these are regular ones. I want some eye pins. Do I have any eye pins in this particular color? That is the question. Though eye pins really won't work on this because actually I should just get some of my bigger ones and cut the top off, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Now these are older head pins, and what I do with head pins when I need just a hunk of wire in that color is I just cut the head off. So I'll get in here with my heavy duty cutters, pull these up into here, and just snap the tops off. Now I have two little pieces of bronze wire. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold these over. We're going for the bigger loop again because we're going to go into the bottom down there. So I'm just going to do like that. Then we're going to go exactly opposite into this one right here. And we're going to wrap this once or twice. We're going to take one of these guys, put it on here. And now we have a pretty on the top as well as our pretty on the bottom. Now, because our ear wires, our lever backs always have a loop going this way, we need to have that loop going the same way for these. So we'll just bend it forward. Get our pliers out. This one is just going to be making a regular one with the regular size. We're just going to go over and around and bring it up. Hold our loop and then wrap it. And this one will be, this is where we're going to hook our ear wire to. I think I have that turned the wrong way as far as the top of the loop is concerned, but I'll worry about that when I need some more bronze ear wires. I have not found what I did with my bronze ear wires, and even though I've been searching for a bit. So there's what this one will look like as soon as it gets its ear wire. It's done. I'm going to do the other one here the same way. Oh, this one? I have a what they call a what do they call that thing? I got this from wirejewelry.com, wire jewelry. They call it a sliding pin vise. So I put the wire in one side. This is square wire to start with. And then I up and over and around. Oh, this pin feels a lot harder than the other one. Wonder if this one's steel. Anyway, we put it in the pin twice, square wire in the pin vise. It's 18 gauge square wire, and then we twist it to make that fun twisted pattern there. I know I'm probably going off screen some, and I apologize for that. Okay, I've got this one way crooked, so we have to straighten her up. That's better. Oh, for Pete's sake, stop it. Sometimes it helps to hold it with my flats because the bar is pretty the same width, whereas these open up a little bit as they go this direction. And so it likes to slide sometimes. Now, see, I think this one is turned in the proper direction because the ear wire would go like this and you just put a jump ring between. So this one should be this way. So there we go. Just need ear wires for that pair and it's done. This pair needs its end caps. So I need to go find my end caps and we'll put those on quickly. These all can be put away. I'll do it later. Oh, for those who didn't see, I have a really long sea glass rosary chain. I think it was measured out to 36 inches and I just hooked it together. It can just go as a over your neck kind of thing. So it's really colorful and pretty. Not sure what I'm going to do with it. Maybe just leave it alone. Now these ones are going to use this style of closure. And what you do is you're just going to put some super glue in this hole here and then push your two sides up in there. Come on, you'll go in there. I know you will because I have done it before. So one. And then the second one goes beside it because it's got a wide base here. Go in there. You guys are being pains. So they just go in like this and they're super glued in. So I will need to get my Loctite out and we will get those put on. Oh, thank you. Yes, Dorothy will be on in a few minutes. We're going to finish this pair up by just putting some Loctite in our end pieces here and put them on, and then they'll just need their ear wires put on. So we've got our 3 pair are going to be done. Oop, come on, go in there. Other than needing the ear wires on them. So you just Loctite is what Leathercord USA suggests for their for using with their leather. And this leather is from Leathercord USA. So get that pushed in all the way. And then it just has to dry. I think that one's in all the way. So let's see it straight. Okay, it is 9:30 now. Dorothy should be starting any second now. So I'm just going to glue this second one here. We'll just put this on here, turn up and chat for a minute, and then we'll go over into DGI Designs to watch Gloria. Not Gloria, Dorothy. Sorry. Excuse me. So now we got to put these two in this side. Come here, you guys. And you can do one at a time if it's easier that way. Sometimes it is, sometimes it just does just what that one just did and just comes out. So there we go. They're both in now. Now these don't have squish, or you don't squish these at all or anything. You just glue them on. And now we just have to wait for the glue to dry. And this one still looks long, this leg of this, but I'm sure it's in all the way. So you just have to wait for them to dry some, and then you can put the ear wires on, and then those are done. So let's turn up. So there we go. We have 3 pair of earrings made with our Time Traveler Companion Bundle. Whoa! Sorry. Obviously my set screw's coming loose again. I hate that when it does that. Are we set? And why are we so big? Anyway, we have our ones with the twisted wire hoops around the little pretties that we made in the little dangle for. And then we have the ones with the gear and the fossil coral. It also has one of those agates at the top. It just needs its ear wire. It's done. And thirdly, I'm not going to play with them too much because the glue is still wet. We have our little leather ones. They just need their ear wire. Once the glue is dry, I can put their ear wires on because I do have plenty of stainless steel ones. So anyway, there we go, ladies. I hope you enjoyed making those with me. They are all from pieces from our Time Traveler Companion Bundle. And I think they turned out really lovely. So I hope you enjoyed making those with me, and we will see you over on DGI Designs with Dorothy. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.